Βελούδινη σοκολάτα γαλακτοσιών. Δεύτερο επίπεδο. Ανάλαφρο τραγανό πέπλο Chris Price.
Hello. Hello, how's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing good. Sorry for being a little bit late. Better to be prepared than, stopping the stream. I don't look. To me, it's better to, it's better to, be 5 minutes late in the beginning of the stream instead of, being like stopping midstream in order to do some other work. I don't know. I think it ruins the flow. But in the beginning, it's not like that, because in the beginning it's like there is no flow yet, since it hasn't started yet. So people can keep a little bit more patient, I believe, on my personal opinion. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Well, it's Women's Day today. Nice. Best of wishes to all women out there. International Women's Day, yeah, nice. Oh, excuse me. I'm reading something. I'm reading about, after the success of The Last of Us, the show, there is actually more pressure now for a God of War show. And Cory Barlog, the director, expresses that this all adds, pressure to the thing. And since this article is from IGN, Cory Barlog retweets that headline, and he's like, "Great! Now this article adds more pressure. Thanks a lot." Anyway. What the fuck? Twitter is as horny as usual today. Actually, it's a little bit more than usual today for some reason. Back to back, I got some real horny, tweets. Anyway, sorry, I'm scrolling on Twitter again, and here I am not making my my stream. I was supposed to tweet that I am live. Anyway, yeah, I've got some news for you today. Quite a few, really. I did got a small cold. I cannot lie on that. I had that since last week, but it's still not gone. I still have a stuffed nose and a little bit of a headache. I love this music. Actually, if I could find this track alone, I could put it in a loop. But I don't have Shazam. Wait a minute, can you use Shazam without downloading it on PC? Let me... No, you have to download it, come on. No, come on, I have to download it. Fuck. Okay, look. Let me find it now real quick. Give me a second. I'm all over the place today, what can I say? No, found it. Found it. Wait, wait, give me a second. Give me a second, give me a second. I'm doing it mostly because, one, I love the song. Two, because I do not want to get ads. Unfortunately, this channel, that gives copyright, free copyright music, has ads, and the ad actually played in the BRB screen, and that actually, um, pissed me off a little bit, not gonna lie. Where is it? I think this is it. Nah, you see? Ads again. God damn it. You hear, maybe. There it is. There we go. Now we're good. I have many news for you. Both personal and, not personal. Some fortunate, some unfortunate. It is what it is. That's how life it is. Okay, we're done with the tweet. Zero. Okay, where were we? The cold is already almost gone, fortunately. And I'm glad that I'm gonna, lose this headache because goddamn, because of the staff knows I've been having a headache all this past week. Truth be told, this has been one tough week. You see, I'm trying to find a job. Yeah, this is as long as we lasted, boys. I mean, okay, for how long can I just keep, just streaming and not earning anything? This, of course, means that the program will change. The streams will probably be a little bit more not scuffed. They are already so much scuffed. They will definitely be scuffed. They will probably be a little bit more a few, like, far between, like, I'm not sure. If I have time, I really want to stream. I really like streaming. Many people say that, streaming is actually something that you have to try first to see if you enjoy it. Well, guess what? I do enjoy it. But I hate the fact that it doesn't have much, progress. Or perhaps it doesn't have fast progress because my channel, even though it does have a steady growth, I'm not gonna lie, the channel is not going down. The channel is going up. It's very slow up though. And also that, comes back to the fact that I need a job, The biggest problem of this channel is that the fact that it doesn't have much productivity. It doesn't have much quality in production either. And I this entire time I have been trying to figure out how can you make an audience, how can you build a community. And unfortunately, that's not something that most people have a definitive answer. It's just that they try hard, and because they are just, creative, I guess, or they are just such goofballs or mad lads that they manage to draw people to them because of their, expressions, because of their energy, you could say, because of their, because of who they are, or because what they represent, I guess. Like, I don't know. I do not like to compare myself to other people, but when it comes down to how to do things, like when it comes down to learning, you have to start doing it a little bit. Not because you're jealous, but mostly because you're trying to learn from those who have actually paved the path before you. And from what I understand, I have, even though I do have some growth, I actually have, less growth than the average, VTubing channel, unfortunately. I'm not sure if that comes down to my content. I am not sure if that comes down to my dumbass, personality that I just, I was never really the center of attention to begin with. Well, I never was in school, but I was not expecting that in on the internet as well. That said, that said, I guess I haven't found my kind of recipe yet, you could say. What I offer better than others in the platform, I guess. Then again, you could say that it's also the algorithm. I mean, I'm pretty sure the algorithm is it's cheating a little bit on me because, well, it's one thing to be a small channel and be restricted to the content you do if you are in America or in a northern European country like Germany or Britain. But when you are in a country like Greece, it feels like the algorithm is even more harsh because it understands the, how would you say it? It understands the con, you could say, like the disadvantage of having third world country channels being unfortunately, yeah, Greece, unfortunately, even though having so much great history, it is actually considered a small country and a third world country at that. Even though I will say it out loud, I do not agree, but oh well, what can you do? It's not like Greece; it's a superpower in order to be considered as first world country anyway. You see, the algorithm acknowledges this disadvantage on it in order to like promote channels who come from Balkan countries in general and in countries that they have, in the way in which they have, overall not a big population. Because don't get me wrong, like the population in Greece, it's like 10 million, right? So if it was a Greek video to become viral in Greece and overall being successful, reaching just 1 million views, it's the absolute success. Like, you cannot really get any more than a million views to say, that you are even more successful. Like, 1 million views on Greece, it's success. That's it. That's where it ends. It's not like in other countries where a video might get like 20 million views and like 1 million likes or some shit. You get it? Like, no. It doesn't work the same. And I feel like I have been screwed by that as well. Don't get me wrong. It's not so much about... Oh my god. I just realized this song is by Lo-Fi Geek, okay? And it shows like do I want to show this? Well, let me show this. Wait a minute. I want to show this. Man, you can tell that I am such a fucking I'm such a fucking geek on my own when it comes to being proud of my culture. Okay. Sorry. Let me show you real quick. Let me show you. Let me show you. You see over here? I cannot zoom anymore. Wait a minute. It says it's LTFI geek, but it's on Greek letters. Lo-Fi Geek. Because this is a person who made this amazing song called Sakura. Yeah, you see, how can you call a country a third world country if you're actually using its grammar like in such a, sophisticated way? I'm not talking about Lo-Fi Geek specifically, but I'm talking about the world as a whole. I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense. And that's why I always like acknowledge the fact that, okay, you know what? The fact that Greece it's actually a third world country, it's kind of bullshit, but oh well. There are many things where you can, disagree on that aspect. It depends. What makes a third world country? I need to search on that. What? Okay, wait a minute. what may let me what the fuck, why did this conversation went this way? Well, now I'm curious, what makes a third world country? The modern definition of third world is used to clarify countries that are poor or developing. Countries that are part of the third world are generally characterized by high rates of poverty, economic and or political instability, and high mortality rates. Yeah, so I guess we fall on the second tier over here, economic and political instability. That's why they were called third world. Even though political instability is something that has happened in many first world countries too, just saying. Economic, okay, I understand that economic is something that, yeah. You wouldn't call Greece, land of opportunity, that's for sure. Anyway, where were we? Yes, I was getting a job. So, I am getting a job because first, my family needs it. This past week has been bad in terms of economy, and I'm not gonna go into much detail, but let me tell you, we've been through this before. It's it's always like at the end of the winter or at the middle of the winter where things get really bad, because the season of tourism is over, and now in March it's actually open again. And that's why I applied in many, different jobs. And there are going to be changes. I am going to still keep streaming as much as possible. You will know when it comes down to, when that will happen. You will know because I'm gonna make a short video that, I'm gonna have, it's gonna be like a graduation kind of video in order to catch everyone's eyes, but obviously it's not a graduation. It's gonna be more like an announcement for small hiatus, you could say. Or if it's not necessary to go on hiatus, it's going to be just, me explaining the new program and how things are going to work out. I really do not want to stop streaming. I've been wanting to do YouTube for so fucking long. Like, I wanted to have a channel that is actually going to be somewhat prosperous since 2015, and after so many years of trying to gather money to get the right equipment, gathering money to get a decent PC, because I had a PC that was such a patata that I could not even play a game, not let alone stream it. What can you tell? Like, things have been tough. And they wouldn't be as tough if I wasn't screwed up by fate itself. Because during 2019, I was working hard, alright? I was working hard because I still had that goal to make something, to buy a decent PC and start working on something. If it was not a channel that I was going to make, then I was going to make animations to upload to a channel anyway. Which that is also something that I really want. I really want to learn animation. And perhaps I should actually, in order to put myself in a decent program, I should probably just go ahead and start making streams on learning animation live on stream. Why? Because I feel more motivated to do things when I do them on stream. I do not know why. I feel like, if I have someone's presence that, they are either checking up on me or they want to see me successful, I have to prove that, yeah, I am worth it. It's a reverse mentality, you could say. I don't know what to say. I guess there will be things that in the future will, we could say that they will be worth it. But then again, even if we were to fail, we would not know if it was worth it if we don't try at all, Like, having the regret that you did not try, it's worse than, you know, it's worse than actually trying and failing, I guess. I don't know why I'm so sentimental about it, but I was hoping. I set up a goal with myself that, ever since I started in October, that all the way now in March, the channel would have been successful enough to, at the very least, be monetized through ads at the very least. Because look, don't get me wrong. Again, it's not about money, but it's about mostly being able to survive and overall, excuse me. Always in the worst timing. Where were we? Yes, it's about trying to overcome, no, not overcome, trying to be successful in a way that you're not actually greedy about it. You just want to live through it. I guess it is asking way too much to actually do streaming as a full-time job. And since so many people do it, like, why are you an exception? I am not. But, even if I was to get a minimum of, like, I do not know how, paychecks. I do not know how subs or super chats or any of that actually works when it comes to streaming, truth be told, because I have never been super chatted or been subbed to before. But I was always wondering, like, if I was to make at the very least like 500 euros, at the very least, I could still stream full time because, well, I do live with my family, so making just the bare minimum of 600 to 500 euros means that I can actually survive. Well, that's one of the abilities you have acquired at the very least in a country that is Greece. I do not need much. I do not need to have money to spend on, travels, on vehicles. I don't even have a fucking, driving license. For all the ability, for all the creativity and all the unique abilities I may have, there are still very essential abilities I do not have, such as having a license, a driver's license, yeah. I'm just rambling a little bit, but I really want to let it out because I feel like it has been plaguing my mind, especially now, which I have been trying to find a job. I know I have. You could say I have whined about it, but I do not really want to think of myself that I am always, finding excuses or, I'm basically, saddened about, oh, my channel is not doing well because I'm not getting money out of it. No. I guess at the end of the day, I could say that, what? It's not just that. It's more like the idea that, at the very least, if I was to make something out of this channel, it would be to create a community. Because, look, it's one thing to getting money out of the thing you do, but it's an entire different thing to actually have people that give a shit. So if I was to trade all the money this channel has to offer for a good community, I guess I couldn't have asked for anything more, really. Well, at the very yes, because it would be it would have been something amazing to do. Because I could say that, hey, you know what? Let me have a full-time job. It's not that much of a problem. I never had a problem with working a full-time job. The only problem I always had is the idea that I do not really progress on my personal creativity, So if I was to have a channel with let's say 20 viewers, that would make me really happy. Because that means that I have, created a small gang over here, I could have, the bros hang out with me every time I have I am done with a difficult day at the job. I guess I'm getting a little bit melancholic about it. I cannot help it, you know. I am by nature a pessimistic person. I do not want to think pessimistically, but my mind goes there. I guess the best way I can give hope to this channel is by saying that let this, be my statement right here. By the end of this summer, like let's say let's give myself a little bit more time. By the first anniversary of this channel, we are going to have at least 10 viewers on the chat. I really want to believe that I can achieve this goal. I will try hard, but at the end of the day, I do not really know how to do it. I am really good at, I guess I am really good at, communication skills, you could say. Like, I really know how to brag a lot, that's for sure. But that's a skill that more streamers have, Like, it's difficult. Like, there are streamers who are not really good at speaking, but I personally believe that, that this is a minority, and most streamers actually are really good at speaking. So, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I fall into a different category. Like, I don't just see myself at just bragging. I see myself a little bit more like being a more philosophical kind of person. Like I do talk, but I do sophisticated talk. I am the kind of guy who you would come here to seek, the, the wisdom, like you could say. Or at the very least, have some insight on how to think more clearly. Because, don't get me wrong, I do not have all the answers. If I had all the answers, this channel would have at the very least 1 million viewers right now. You say I brag now. Yeah. Give me a second to blow my nose, goddammit. Dun, 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 dun. Man, I fucking love this music. I love this music. I love this song. I want to keep this song. I'm gonna make this song my, my default, my default background music for talking, I guess. Well, where were we? Yes. Work. There is also one more thing. I did receive an offer about a job, but this job is a resort. I will be returning to hotels, yes, and I am glad because I can then brag about, hey, I can I can have all people from all over the world come in and be like, hey, I've got a channel. Do you wanna check it? No, I'm not gonna do that. Because look. If you say to someone I've got a channel, the first thing they're gonna think about is you making some silly jokes or making music or some shit, and they come into my channel and they say that I'm a VTuber, they're gonna throw up. So yeah. I'm going to do what I do only when I am sure that the person I have in front of me is a weeb. So yeah, there is a possibility that I will get a job at the resort, and it's actually very far from my hometown, which also means that I will probably not be able to bring the equipment with me, which this ultimately results into me being able to stream only once a week, only when I have a day off, because look, it is actually kind of far, like 1.5 hours with a car, I think, and since I do not have a car, I'm gonna have to take a train, so it's gonna be even longer than that. And ultimately, you know, there is this possibility. Look, if I do not get any more, recommendation or not recommendations, any more offers for a job, I guess I will end up, accepting that one, which is kind of far. But as far as I know, it's going to be a job where it's gonna have a decent pay. Actually, a little bit more than a decent pay, because it's a hotel and a resort, and people actually pay a lot of their money for a single stay. If you want to have a little bit of an insight on that, they sell one night, like one night of the one night go like the prices are from like 400 euros to 1000 euros, so there is a lot of money going on here. And after I work a little bit, I guess I'm gonna gather up money. I'm gonna gather up money in order to be able to, work things out a little bit better on the channel. I had an idea this past few weeks about hiring an editor. I do not know why, but I've heard that if you have an editor, it can boost a little bit your numbers, I guess you could say, because now my important thing about the channel is going a little bit mainstream, only to gather some people to watch, or or maybe get better backgrounds, I guess, and a better model. I'm not sure. I know that it's not very nice for the most part for people to actually just look at the static image, and that's why I think that also having a dynamic background and a dynamic model, a live model, it's very important. But that shit costs a lot of money, so I'm trying to balance out what actually is more important: an editor to actually do some nice work, or having a live model. I think, now that I think about it more clearly, I think that having an editor is actually a waste if you do not have a live model, because there's not enough expression in the model. So even if you were to have someone edit something amazing, let's say they're going to edit a short that it has the potential to reach 1 million views on YouTube, my friend, if you have a static image, people are not going to stay, because they don't really see anything. They only see a picture, and it's difficult for people to actually stay and watch something if it's just a picture. I know, because that's how I feel. So yeah, this is the main goal: finding a job, working my ass off, stabilizing my economical situation, and investing more on the channel. This will probably let me be honest with you. The way I see it, if things go well, this channel will be on a decent track from the beginning of the summer, I believe. I would like to believe. At least that's my goal. Like, I cannot really say that's how it works, but I always like the idea of making a program or making a schedule, even if the schedule is a little bit, all over the place. I heard a quote the other day, and I think this quote is actually very, it's very well directed to people like me. The quote went like, do not be stressful or overwhelmed by the schedule you have made, because you want to achieve basically the schedule. The schedule is for you to put everything in order. Like, I phrased that wrong, but I cannot really remember how it was called. That's right. It went something like this: do not seek the priorities based on the schedule that you have made. It's the, it's the like, it's the priorities are based on the schedule, the way you can actually achieve them. Again, I phrased that wrong, but it went something like this. Basically, it means that, priorities change, and for these past few months, my priority was this channel, even though I had many other things I was doing in the background, such as learning how to sing or going to pancreation and such. Ultimately now, the priorities changed. Now I have a desperate need for, work, and the channel unfortunately falls into the second fate. Like, I still want to make as much content as possible, and I'm not. Look, I'm trying to think of a way to make this channel a little bit more unique, and I feel like for YouTube, making a make a scripted video is actually better than making a live stream, because at least in the beginning, because a scripted video actually allows you to get right to the point, make your statements, and have a nice flow on the video. And to top it all off, the video doesn't have to be 1 or 2 hours long. Because even if I have to, even if we were to say that I have some excellent highlights on my stream, which is not really true, because I never felt, I never felt like I had, many moments, I guess. I had a couple of moments, but not many. Still, that will not draw an audience, So I'm trying to think. Would it be best to go on a hiatus when it comes down to making live streams, and instead focus only on making videos? Let me tell you something. I do not really find myself very skilled or very not determined. I am determined, but unfortunately, I do not really have this kind of productivity, especially when I have so many other things that I always chase after, to make both streams and videos. Get it? Like, if I was to make a video, it's going to be ready when it's ready. And if I was to make a stream, the stream will have a decent, time. It would have a schedule, but still, it won't be something too mind-blowing. It's not like I'm gonna make some kind of amazing reveal on something that I have worked on, or some kind of new debut of a new model or something, the way the other VTubers do it. Shit, Iron Mouse actually has taken this title. I'm actually okay. This is the one time that I will actually admit that I am actually jealous. She has how many models has she debuted? 10? She's close to 10, isn't she? She's already above 10 models. Yeah, I am kind of jealous, not gonna lie. But when it comes down to, a model, I do not like the idea of changing the art style too, because it feels like you are from a different universe, even though you are technically the same person. Even though, as far as I know, yeah, Iron Mouse actually does have this kind of lore. I like the idea of, debuting new outfits. I always love the idea of debuting new outfits. And if you think about it, I was actually one of the people that actually got to debut with already 2 outfits: the shirt and the button-up shirt. The t-shirt, excuse me. The t-shirt and the button-up shirt, yes. Look, things do tend to be like a wheel, In this wheel, the wheel rolls, okay? And consider yourself part of the wheel. There are going to be times where this wheel is gonna be up, and then it's gonna roll, and you're gonna be in the down, and then you're gonna roll up again. This is how it always was. This is how it always has been. And at least for this channel, it's the wheel going down. But when it comes down to, economy, it's the wheel now is going up, because I was actually waiting eagerly for for spring, because when it comes to, when spring comes and the winter is over, you can finally, let yourself go. You can finally, say, okay, the weather gets better. I personally have way more energy on summer than winter. I do not know why, but when it's winter, I feel like sleeping all day. But when it's summer, I really want to go and do things, because it's always so sunny out, and it's always so, energetic. The whole, air. And that's the thing. The channel now will will eventually reach a point where it will not be as productive as it was before. Not that it was already too productive, but then again, you cannot say that 3 days a week it's a little, streaming for 2 or 3 hours a day for 3 days a week. That makes a total of like 5 to 10 hours of streaming, which is not a lot, but at the same time, it's not very little either, for my personal opinion. I mean, think about it. Who is going to watch you for 10 hours anyway? you know? Let me tell you, I have Oshis of my own, alright? I have people that I really love watching their streams, but I never actually watch the entirety of it. Because one, I don't have time for it. Two, I do feel like it will eventually get a little bit monotonous to always like be watching someone, So this is like my mentality as a viewer, like comes back as a mentality as a creator, For me, it's the idea that, okay, you know what, people will come, they will come watch you a little bit. They're probably gonna lurk, or they're probably gonna comment a little bit because they want to be, they want to engage a little bit more with you, but interact with you a little bit more. But when it comes to, them feeling a little bit tired of all the socializing, they're gonna, log out. They're gonna go do something else. And when they have time, or they perhaps wonder if you're still alive, they're gonna come back and say hi again. This is how I am. Many times I watch a stream and I do not feel like commenting. Other times I do watch a stream and I feel like commenting. Other times I don't feel like watching anyone at all. And even though my favorite of favorites streamers are streaming, I do not bother even watch them for a second. So that's the thing. That's my statement when I say that, okay, 10 hours of streaming per week is not that, it's enough, I guess. Not to mention that actually, because my father does not look, my father does not really understand streaming. So he does bother me from time to time, saying that even 10 hours is too much. But I know, when I go on Twitch and I see this timer of someone streaming for like 8, 9, some other times maybe even 12, 13 hours, I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand those who do full time, or they have some kind of subathon, or they have a birthday stream that they really want to go for that. And if my father watches these numbers, he will plop his own eyes out. But I think that, it has to be balanced. Streaming approximately 10 hours per week, it's enough. But now me getting a job means that I will be more tired. I will not be able to be as focused, I'm afraid, on the stream, because, okay, imagine yourself returning from work after 8 hours of work, 1 hour going, 1 hour coming back, a total of 10 hours of your life go to you having to work in order to survive, and then returning home to stream for like 5 hours. Or, on my case, let's say I will stream for 1 hour. Will I really find this hype? Because look, let me be honest. It's not really hype if there is no one to hype with, you know? It doesn't matter how much the creator tries to hype up something if people do not really roll with it. I'm not sure if it's also because I am a male streamer and to top it all off, I'm actually kinda late. I have this feeling that I actually did took my sweet ass time with it. You see, the thing is, I set the goal to become a streamer at 1st of February 2021. And back then, being a VTubing streamer, by the way, it's a symbolic date, actually. 1st of February 2021, I decided to become a streamer. I actually wanted to release a song the next year. This was my goal on the channel in order to be able to, commemorate this, feeling of me really wanting to actually do something more for my life. Unfortunately, and that's why I went and took, singing lessons, but unfortunately I wasn't good. And the song I chose, it was actually very damn difficult. The song, if you want to listen to it, it's called Not an Option by Wildfire. It's a really amazing song. And it's exactly how I felt when in 1st of February actually set the goal of, okay, you know what? This time I'm not gonna quit. This time I'm gonna go all the way. It doesn't matter for how long it takes. And here we are, like 2 years and 2 months later, me still having, this determination of trying. But now it feels like I'm a little bit late, I think. Because back then in 2021, VTubing was actually big. Big, I tell you. Like, everyone actually shoved their heads in. Like, there were so many people that debuted in 2021, and it was amazing. Even though 2021, it wasn't my personal favorite year, when it comes to the internet, it was actually one really damn good year. Compared to 2020, fuck that year. But yeah. But now, it feels like, I am just one more. That's it. And even if I was to say, okay, you know what, stop crying like a baby, basically, over it. It doesn't matter. You have to do your own thing. Yes. Okay, you know what? Yes. You have to focus on yourself. Even if you cannot manage to overcome the algorithm, even if you do not manage to do many, great achievements, such as, eventually reaching a point where you will become a mainstream VTuber and eventually everybody's going to know you and everybody wants to collab with you and shit. No, it does not matter. None of that matters. As long as you have, development on your person, like on yourself. Like, if you become better yourself, you have already succeeded. If you know for a fact that the person today is more powerful than the person who was last year, then you have done something right. But ultimately, it cannot, you cannot really shake the feeling that, okay, you know what, you really wanted to win. Or at the very least, not win, but actually feel a little bit more like... You wanted to feel a little bit more glorious, you could say. I don't know. By the way, this track called Sakura, I just realized it was released in 2021. It was released in September 2020. Oh, excuse me, I have an important call. For a job, obviously. I'll be back. Be right back. I'm back. Excuse me. Nothing too important. But yeah. That's it. Like, this is like the turning point, you know? The turning point for a lot of things. I do not really know how I will manage, you know? I really hope it will not take, you know, I really hope it will not take too long for me to settle up in everything and be able to, you know, be able to overall I would I just have a small fear, okay? I have a small fear that, you know, I will probably get overwhelmed by exhaustion from the work or exhaustion from daily life overall, and I will not be I will not continue making streams, and I do not really want that, man. But I know for a fact that sometimes, especially when you work in a hotel, there is not a strict, you know, schedule when it comes to your work. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that most of the time, you might end up, you know, working on different times. What I mean is, um, sometimes you might work the morning shift. Some other times you might work the afternoon shift. Some other times you might work the night shift. Now, nothing is set in stone here, so there is a possibility that I will be hired for only a specific, you know, for only a specific, you know, uh, God damn it, for a specific shift, for a specific shift. But the thing is, if that's not the case, I will end up not being able to have a decent program on the channel, which is something that I do not want. I feel like if you stream on a specific schedule, people are actually going to give a shit more about it. Also, one more thing. I feel like I was thinking about this quite a lot, and I said to myself, okay, fuck it, I will actually leave it until the day comes. I want to stream on more on better times, you know, because every time I stream, I feel like 2 p.m. Eastern European time. It's not a good time, man. Nobody comes to watch you at that time. I have to stream more on, you know, like most streamers that I watch stream approximately at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern European time. So I'm always 5 hours late, you could say. 5 hours earlier. And that is also one more reason why most people do not come to my, you know, to my channel. Because the channel is not recommended to them at the right time. Get it? Ultimately, it leads me to not have decent growth. So I guess that's also one more reason. So this is why I say it's a turning point. This is where I will try to reevaluate everything this channel does and how it does it. When I make some money, I will definitely, you know, want to improve everything as well. I would like to, you know, get eventually a 3D model. A 3D model, yes. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck until the day I get a 3D model. I really want to get a live model. I have to be honest with you, by the way. I do not like many 3D models, but there are a few, very few, and far between that actually are fucking amazing. Like, I watched, like, last week, BuffPups 3D model, you know. She streamed on 3D for a couple of days, and man, it was such a good fucking model. Ah. Also, Mermaider as well had the 3D model. I just checked that out yesterday. These models are actually damn good because they have actually detail of the car, all the details of the character. I remember the early days of VTubing when people were trying to have, avatars in Vroid and shit. Now you don't really see many VTubers in Vroid, or you do not see them because they have faded in obscurity, unfortunately. Which is something that I am greatly fearful of. But despite that, having a 3D model now, early on, it feels like it's not the answer. Like, the ladder, it always goes like this. PNG, Live 2D, 3D. And the 3D has to be like the pinnacle. Like, it has to you have to have one of the most amazing models. Like, you have, PlayStation 4 Gravity Rush graphics when it comes to how good the model will be. Like, it has to be a good fucking model. A Vroid model that has almost no identity into it because it feels very simply made. It's something that even if someone was to gift me such a model, I didn't want to use it. Okay, to be fair, having a live model probably is better than a PNG. But if I was to choose between a Vroid 3D model and a Live 2D model, I will definitely choose the Live 2D. There's a reason why Live 2D eventually overcame 3D Vroid models, basically. It was a small debate back in the day, back in 2021. I have a notebook over here that I actually got this notebook back in 2020, and I still remember the first things I actually wrote about VTubing tips and such. For example, for 3D VTubing tips, it was you could get from Vroid Studio, and you could go to Pixip for a model. You could search for items. You could search Vroid for items. Japanese, it's in Japanese, yeah. And you can learn or commission later for a better model. Man, these are all tips I actually wrote 2 years ago. Face tracking the model, Wakaru or 3Teen for Twitch streaming, or Lopet. Hand tracking, you need Leap Motion Controller. For Live 2D, for VTubing for 2D, it's Live 2D Cubism or Void, a face rig. It had to be like void space. You had to have a character design, character art, Live 2D rigging, motion capture. The designing leads to animation, to tracking, to capture the model with streaming, with an OBS software. Man, this is the first time I actually learned what OBS even is. I had nobody tell me all that shit. It was difficult for me to digest. In Greece it's not very, having a job where you actually have fun, it's, you could say, unheard of. So, yeah. I guess you could say that, streaming and, overall doing things like that, it's something that you cannot just find people who just do it. And, I have to be also honest about it. I do have somewhat of a social anxiety, or at the very least, I had a social anxiety way back when I was in high school. And I eventually overcame that IRL when I got the job as a bellboy on hotels. Because I had to interact with people, and these interactions led to me actually becoming good at talking to people. But now I still have social anxiety on the internet. It's like I do feel a little bit I actually feel so very uncomfortable thinking of going into a forum and ask questions, I never have anyone introduce me to the internet. I had to learn anything by myself. And it was always a lonely ride. And, and a very stressful at that. Even nowadays, I still do things. I still experiment on, everything. And I still don't feel very comfortable. Well, I do feel a little bit more comfortable in a couple of areas, such as in Twitch, or in Twitter, because I actually try to do things differently this time. Not different from others, different from me. You know, I wasn't just lurking. This time I was participating. I was trying to learn how to be a part of the community actively. And yeah, in a couple of ways I managed, you could say. There are many things that, I still do not understand. Oh, new autograph pin just dropped from Amali. Oh my god, looks amazing. God damn. Who made the art? My god. Having an illustration so much detail, it's so goddamn expensive. I don't know why, but whenever I commission art, the artist doesn't do good job in making some nice details about it. Or it's like the artist always expects me to say specifically about the detail. And this is also something that I've learned about commissioning. Like, wait a minute, can I actually get an autograph signed? Man, oh come on, it's 50 fucking euros. 50. Oh wait a minute, $50. Fair enough. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I find it on how much it costs in Greece? Where's the Greek flag? Oh well. I'm getting distracted again, and here I am, not actually making my stream. Sorry. Man, I have to stop being a consumer on Twitter. Fuck. Anyway, there have been a couple of things that have happened in the past week, such as, well, a small national, tragedy happened in Greece, and the entirety of Greece, it's actually shocked and angry about it. 2 trains actually crashed, and it resulted in many casualties. I have refrained from saying anything because I felt like, okay, you know what? I don't know, or maybe I do not feel like, having the VTubing community being, doing anything about such things. I don't think the VTubing community is, it's a place meant to actually talk about such things, but also because it's not like a calamity that happened in another country. It's mostly about a calamity that happened in my own country. So for me, the idea is that I have no reason to go tell, foreigners, or not foreigners, but overall outsiders, people who are not living in Greece, about the Greek calamity. It would be best for people to learn it on their own and send their wishes according to how they want to do it, For example, having a calamity happening in another country, you being outside of that country, it feels more appropriate to go on your own and share. You basically give your condolences and pay your respects to them, instead of being someone from the country that actually this tragedy happened, and ultimately going and spreading the word of this tragedy. Get it? Like, I do not want to spread the word of tragedy, but then again, I do not really want to refrain from talking about it. It's something that actually did happen because of because of many reasons, actually. But people are pissed because it feels like people do not take seriously their jobs anymore, and someone makes a mistake, someone else makes another mistake, and ultimately this leads into a chain of disaster. And this was the case of This was the case in this incident. I'm not sure if news outlets actually, talked about it. But you know what? If there is actually a video, I would like to watch it. Greece train tragedy. The 5-minute anatomy of a tragedy. There we go. The DW News. Okay, let me watch a little bit of it. Since I am talking about it, might as well just react a little bit to it. I haven't seen the English news. I have only watched the Greek news. I really want to see what they, how do they acknowledge all this. Let's see. Here we go.
At least 36 people have been killed in a head-on train collision in Greece. More than 50 people are being treated in hospital with serious injuries. A passenger train was heading from Athens to Thessaloniki when it hit a freight train coming the other way. Police are investigating what caused the crash.
The collision happened just before midnight.
Yeah.
It's a head-on crash involving
It happened just before the midnight, like right before March started. And it's kind of bullshit because I actually went outside. Like I went on a stroll. Like I hanged out with a friend of mine just a couple of hours before that incident. And we were like, man, things have been tough, but let's hope, that this new month will be a great one. And then we wake up the next morning and this is the news we get. And we're like, fuck. Man, we are so unlucky.
Cargo train and a packed intercity line. Authorities say the force of the impact was so strong that the front two carriages of the passenger train were almost completely destroyed, with fires breaking out in many others. Around 350 people were on board the service from Athens to the northern city of Thessaloniki at the time. Those who escaped with their lives described the chaos when the two trains collided.
By the way, what's the worst thing about all this shit is the fact that the people who were actually going back to Thessaloniki so late at night, before midnight, it was people who actually, it was Apokrias, right? I was, the masquerade parties and all that. They were coming back from the 3-day, celebration of the Apokrias, basically. And they were all young people. Most of them, at least. They were all college kids. Kids of my age, and yeah, it's unfortunate. It's shit because when you actually think about it, you're like, man, I could have been the one in that fucking train. And when you think about it like that, you start, fear a little bit for your life. You're thinking, oh shit, like if you actually linger on that thought, you become, despair catches up to you. But that's why I refrain most of the time to actually talk about tragic news. But since I actually have been avoiding to speak about it this entire week, I felt like, okay, you know what, maybe this is the right time, right before it actually, this whole matter reaches a conclusion, because this entire past week, the news have only been talking about this incident. I do not want to be seen as a, channel that actually uses the tragedy to, garner attention. So I just, this moment right here is me just trying to pay respects on my own way, just letting the world, just inform the world a little bit in this chatting stream, even though, it's basically done on a secret, or low key. Get it? I do not really expect that anyone will actually come back to this stream and actually watch this very moment. I just do it because I feel like, okay, you know what? This is my way of, this is my way of, you know, acknowledging the situation and paying respects and moving on.
We heard a big bang. It was 10 nightmarish seconds. We were thrown around in the wagon, eventually falling on our sides. The commotion stopped. Then there was panic. Cables everywhere. The fire was immediate. As we were rolling, we were burning. Fire was everywhere. As we landed, a fire erupted right next to us. This man, he saw a hole, so we managed to get out through there. Emergency teams and rescue crews worked through the night and in the thick smoke, searching for survivors.
Yeah.
Scouring each broken carriage by torchlight for signs of life. And the bodies of those killed in the crash. It's a huge operation involving more than 150 firefighters and 40 ambulances. The rescue work continuing into the morning, with specialist equipment also deployed to help clear the debris. It's not yet known what caused the collision, but it is already being described as the worst train accident in Greek history.
Yeah.
Let's get more from Daphne Tollis. She's a journalist based in Greece. So welcome to DW, Daphne. Talk us through what happened.
Actually, let me add up to that. We already now know that what caused it. The person, the station guard, you could say. I'm not sure how it's called in English. Anyway, the person who was actually, at the station, meant to, turn the keys for changing, the lines or of where the trains go. He did not actually change the line from, he forgot to change to turn the key yet again. He didn't change the line, and that resulted in having the two trains coming one up against each other on the same lane.
Happened.
Good morning from Athens. Unfortunately, I will start with the news that the death toll has risen to 36 people as at this moment. So last night on the Tuesday around 7:30, the train departed Athens and was traveling to Thessaloniki, north of Greece. And around 4 hours after departure, it made a short stop for 15 minutes, and then the service resumed again, and the collision occurred. It was a head-on collision with a cargo train. The passenger train was carrying around 350 people. I'm saying around because that's what the railway company said at the beginning. At the statement that they issued, they said there was about 350 passengers on board at the time of the collision. So far, yes, the rescue operations and search and rescue operations are still ongoing on the site, because the first two carriages of the train were completely or almost completely destroyed. The regional governor of the Thessaly region said on TV that these three carriages burst into flames after the collision.
And have rescuers managed to find all the people who were travelling on this train? As you were speaking, we are now looking at pictures from the scene.
There's also one more video I want to check out a little bit. Give me 1 second. The one that is a little bit more recent. Atomic of and there is also protesters doing their own thing because of the anger that has led to all this horrible incident. The news are so well edited, I'm not gonna lie. I have to be honest with you. European news of all kinds are always so well. I know this is probably dumb to say at this moment, but they are way more better edited than Greek news. That's for sure. I do not know why, but I always
On the
enjoy.
evening of Tuesday,
I always enjoying watching news, regardless of what type. When I see such nice basically transitions, you could say, yeah.
the 28th of February, passenger train Intercity 62 departs as scheduled at 7:22 in the afternoon to run the route Athens-Thessaloniki. Throughout its length, the Athens-Thessaloniki railway line is double, one for its traffic flow. In the Paleopharsalo area, there is a delay due to a technical problem of the electrification cable, which had happened earlier in the day and had even interrupted the Intercity 56 route. The train finally departs 48 minutes late from Paleopharsalo at 10:48. It is momentarily placed on the descent line to prevent electrocution and returned to normal orbit. It arrives in Larissa on 11:07. 81 people disembark, and it departs on 9:11 with 340 passengers and 12 staff, a total of 352 on board. As can be seen from the publication of his conversation with the train driver, the station master is probably confused by the previous handling of another local train and does not use the 118A key to restore the line to an upward trajectory. Thus, for about 25 kilometers and almost 12 minutes, the passenger train moves downhill on the same line as freight train number 63503, which with 2 personnel runs the route Thessaloniki-Larissa. At this particular point of the route, the maximum speed allowed by the traffic manual is 160 km per hour. At 11:21, the two trains collide. The first 4 passenger cars are derailed and the first one is engulfed in flames. The temperature decided may exceed 1300 degrees of Celsius. At 11:24, a passenger called 112 and reports a serious accident in the Evangelismos area of Larissa. At 11:40, the first fire brigades arrive at the scene. 10 minutes to midnight, the first ambulance arrives. The remote control system does not operate on the Athens-Thessaloniki route. Although it has been purchased since 2000 with the intention of operating in the 2004 Olympics, 20 plus years later it is still not installed in a quagmire of unfinished contracts, complaints of its management, delayed upgrades. Thus, in the year 2023, train drivers receive up to 15 radio signals from the respective station master to move from station A to station B, from station B to station C, and so on. In the Tempe accident in particular, it is completely inexplicable the station master's recording of the arrival of freight train 63503 at 11:05 when it had not even passed through the Tempe tunnel. Most likely, he'd accidentally passed it for another one, and that led him to give the OK to Intercity to continue down the descent, considering how he wouldn't encounter another train in its path. They do not operate on the Athens-Thessaloniki route except for a small part of it. A. Traffic lights. B. Remote control and traffic control system. C. Communication system. If either of these worked, the drivers would have a view of the traffic within a radius of few hundred kilometers, and before they collided, they would have simply stopped at a red light. The traffic lights are more than 2 kilometers apart, or even if they had run the red light, the automatic instantaneous braking system would have been activated, which stops the train in a maximum of 1200 meters. But these safeguards don't exist, and everything ends up depending on the human factor.
Yep.
The OSE trade unionists had warned many times about the problems of the Greek railway with their last letter 3 weeks ago, on February 7th. 2 weeks before the tragic accident, on February 15th, the European Commission had referred Greece to the European Court of Justice for the railway infrastructure. Almost 17 hours after the accident, the Minister of Transport, Kostas Karamanlis, announces his resignation, assuming political responsibility. A few hours later, in a taped televised speech, the Prime Minister attributed the accident mainly to human error and committed to justice.
καθώς όλα δείχνουν πως το δράμα οφείλεται δυστυχώς κυρίως σε τραγικό ανθρώπινο λάθος.
Until the late afternoon of Sunday, March 5th, and while the identification of the victims through DNA continues, the tragic toll is 57 dead, in the majority of them young men and women, according to the medical examiners. The exact number of missing remains unclear.
Yeah. So ultimately, the world just so happens to always find itself on the brink of ruin because of a single error, or perhaps a multitude of errors that nobody took responsibility for. That's the reason I do not really like making, or seeing such news, because it brings the mood down. But ultimately, as I said, it's my way of paying respects, and that's why I'm doing it such in such a low key. I guess when it comes down to what does this all mean, I guess it comes down to the fact that, in order to see a better tomorrow, you yourself have to be better. If these people cared more about the job they do, this wouldn't have happened. And as for the passengers, well, there's not much to be said about that. Those who survived, they are traumatized, but they still have a chance at life. Those who passed away, well, they may be eternally remembered for the way they lived. And this is exactly the reason why you should live to your fullest, because if one day your departure from this world will be so sudden, let the world remember you for how an amazing life you lived, And in many ways, this channel is my own, I think I've said this before, it's like my own diary, you could say. Well, in many ways, I too tend to romanticize many things. Mostly because I'm a writer, but still, I do tend to love to watch. I do like to think things are, way more. They have a bigger meaning, Things have. They're not just like the way they are because they just that, I like to assume that there is a bigger meaning to everything, And that's why I love to romanticize it, because I like to think that, what? Everything that happens, it's something that, whether it was error or not, it was something that unfortunately it was supposed to happen, because some people have to be punished, some other people have to be, reevaluate their own lives, and ultimately, basically, an incident becomes the means for new beginnings, I guess, You see, I'm trying to romanticize it right now. Well, yeah. It's not something that you should say that you should be happy about. I am certainly not. But I would feel even worse if I think that everything that happened was for nothing, Or that, all the destruction, or the mistakes, all the hatred, or all the noise has no meaning in the end. It will send you down a spiral of misery, and that's something that I hate, you know. I always hated misery so much. Like, I feel like someone's pain might become someone else's hope. You get me? I guess I'm just, you know, lollygagging right now. Like, I have let my inner writer try to explain this philosophical mess, you could say. But, you know, I guess ultimately it shouldn't be something that you should actually think about it too much if you're not feeling like understanding it right now. Maybe one day you will understand it, or at the very least one day you might move past it, you know. Back to the matter at hand. As I was saying, this channel is like my own diary, and I really want to keep streaming, you know, because I really want to give a meaning to my own existence as well. It's less about being popular. It's less about achieving, you know, to make a fortune out of just playing video games or some shit. No, it's more about doing something that ultimately you feel proud for. You did because you liked it, and you tried to spread a good message with it. You tried to do it. You try to make something special out of it, and ultimately, it's the life you led. You know, it's not simple, you could say. Like, you cannot just, you know, you cannot just expect that everything that you do is gonna be, you know, remembered, I guess. But it's for your personal satisfaction. As long as you feel complete, it's something that, you know, ultimately it's something that it makes you happy, and that's what matters, you know, living your own way. I really do not know how to bring the mood up after this, actually. A tragedy is a tragedy, and unfortunately you cannot actually change the fact that the tragedy is bad. That's why it's called tragedy, you know? It's a Greek word. Excuse me, I'm yawning. As usual. Yeah, I still haven't slept very well. Or perhaps I'm just, you know, when I am bragging so much, even I get bored. Okay, maybe I brought the mood a little bit up with that. But anyway. I think we're getting close to the 2-hour mark now, and I think I do not really have much else to say or do, for that matter. So, I just want to say one thing. I will try harder. I will do more. I want to achieve something, you know? And I want this channel to succeed in some way. I will not probably be the best of the best of the best, but I will be one of the best, at least. No, excuse me, let me rephrase that. I will not be number 1. I will probably not be number 10, you know, in the top 10 either. But as long as I am in the top 1,000, I guess that's good enough. Get it? Like, it doesn't have to be something so restrictive, you know, like, oh no, you have to be the best. No. If I am just, you know, if I am part of the gang, if I am part of the community, if I am part of the creators that actually, you know, try to spread a good message, then I am already satisfied. You know? That said, we will be better. We will do more. It will take time, It will take time, but but eventually, change will happen. Change for the better. And when change happens, well, then that's where we will truly celebrate. Anyway, I'm Alexander Foldenstar. I'll see you on Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern European time. I'm probably going to continue playing. Spiritfarer. It's a nice game. It's a calm one. I enjoy it, and I really want to keep playing it. That said, I had one more thing to say, but I forgot. Thank you so much for being here. I understand that the flow of my, I understand that the flow of my streams is always a little bit off, but especially in chatting, I feel like this is the way off. But that's the thing. When I do chatting, I actually just, I just do what I want. I talk about what I like, and I like doing it. I like enjoying, this random stream, basically. It's a random stream, really. It just goes from one topic to the next. That's how I always was. Excuse me. Didn't talk about much of gaming, unfortunately, this time. Well, not much. I have been playing Fallout 4 lately. I don't know why, but I felt like playing. I love Fallout. I haven't tried Fallout 76. I know that it was very rough in the beginning. It was actually downright bad, but actually, I want to know how it's like in the recent years. I actually got Fallout 76 on PlayStation Plus. So probably I'm gonna try it out. I'm not gonna try it out on stream though. There. I shoved a little bit of gaming into my stream right before I end it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this channel, of this community. Even though you might be just one person, you being here and just listening to me ramble for 5 minutes, it's the most I could ask for, Don't worry, the family will get bigger, Eventually the gang will become, truly a force to be reckoned with. Trust me, I will try hard for that. Don't worry, I am a clever devil. I will come down to, I will eventually, reach the solution through hard work and, I guess, a lot of investment into it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. See you on Friday. Later. I so love this music, man.